We're here for a somewhat historic occasion. That historic occasion being this is the first property under our Housing Forward program where the city is trying to increase the number of units of housing throughout the city of Albuquerque. And one of our strategies to do this is to convert hotels into housing. And so we are here at the former SureStay Hotel in Hotel Circle, roughly by Los Altos Park. And this hopefully is going to be our first example of this conversion process. Today we're announcing that the city is closed on this property, and we're also announcing our plan to renovate this and convert it into affordable housing. This project will bring about 100 new units of affordable housing to the market in a matter of months, not years. And again, let's re-emphasize sort of why we're looking at this strategy. One is we have too many hotels that are not necessarily being fully utilized, that are becoming run down, and also, I think most importantly, aren't really successful businesses in their own right. And so that's a supply and demand problem in its own where we have too much supply. Then on the other side, we have a need for housing, especially for efficiencies and single unit single occupancy ability, and that is easy to convert from a hotel. So we're doing limited things to the rooms, like we got to add a sink, we got to make sure there's appropriate kitchen appliances, and then they're ready to go. And of course, a lot of these hotels like this one have community space. It has a swimming pool that we're probably going to keep open. So these are actually going to be great places to live. And this SureStay property too has, whether it's shade from the trees, it's in very good condition compared to a lot of the other hotels that we kind of initially looked at. So we do want everyone to know we decided to buy a relatively nice property to convert to affordable housing. This is not a case of a completely run-down motel that we're converting. Now, there's two reasons for that. Obviously, the price is set by the market. We bought this at appraised value, more or less, and so we're paying for the quality. But also, it makes the conversion quicker. So to bring this up to speed and to make it utilizable for affordable housing, now we know it's going to be able to happen at a much cheaper price point and also in a much faster way than if we worked on some of the more dilapidated properties. So we're open to sort of all options going forward. This is the first of what we hope will be anywhere from 3 to 5 examples of this throughout the city of Albuquerque. Now, we want to thank our partners who made this possible as well. City Council helped fund this. We also know that the state paid for about half of this. So I want to thank Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham and her team. This is a primary example of her commitment to housing and affordable housing right here in Albuquerque, and so we very much appreciate that. This funding, by the way, is from the last session, just so you know, it's not for the most recent session. And we also want to thank, of course, our HUD office, who does so many things with us, and our federal partners, and so we really appreciate them for being part of the Housing Forward project. Now, we also know that this is part of a broader Housing Forward strategy. We want to do this with hotels. We want to convert commercial and retail empty real estate into residential. And of course, we want to continue to work on the zoning issues that I think folks are aware of to try and make it easier to have casitas and so forth to increase. Overall, what we need in our city is 30,000 units of housing. So this is part of about a 5-pronged approach to try and get there in a time that isn't too far away, anywhere from 3 sort of 5-7-year time horizon for all of these different things to take into effect. So we hope that in the future, this particular property will be a safe and sustainable foundation for individuals who live here and for families to reconnect and also for stability in this area. We think, by the way, this particular area of town, has had a lot of crime challenges. And I want to remind everyone who's in the neighborhoods around us, this investment, we're going to take care of this property. And this is going to be sustainable housing. It's going to be much better than transient hotel kind of situations that we've had in the past in this area. Also, all the challenges we're having at Los Altos Park, remember, that is all, we're almost complete with a, I forget the exact price tag, $9 to $12 million renovation of Los Altos Park. So this is part of now a tens of millions of dollar commitment to this area around Los Altos neighborhood. So I know many folks are very happy to see that long-awaited investment in this part of town that's been largely forgotten. For decades, the city was not investing in the Los Altos area, and we've completely changed that around under my administration. So with more on that project, I'm going to hand it over to Carol Pierce, our Director of Family and Community. Carol? Great.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, we are very excited here at the City and Family and Community Services with this purchase of our first hotel, which is really going to be an apartment complex. As the Mayor said, it's 100 efficiency and 1-bedroom apartments. We're really excited that we're working with our partners at Monarch Properties, who we work with already across many units across the city, and they are our partners in managing this property. This is important. This will be mixed income for a variety of people who need that affordable housing. And as the Mayor said, we have a big gap in our community, and this is a step toward achieving that gap. What we will have, what makes this property unique, we will have an on-site services coordinator, and this is to really help people. Maybe they're working on their budget, that they've signed the lease. Maybe they want to access other kinds of supports, and so we'll have an on-site services coordinator here. We're very excited that we already have an architect in place, and the renovations will begin and be complete within the next 6 to 9 months. This is not going to go on for years and years. This is a quick project. As the Mayor said, this hotel is in great shape. We've just got the modifications, and we're really delighted that our architect could make these renderings where you can see the kitchen addition, which with a full refrigerator, with a stove. It's actually a built-in induction oven, and just have the cabinets that you need to really have that kitchen in place.
This point right here.
Yeah, thank you.
This is actually really hard to do in a quick and thorough way, so we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
Picture. But go ahead, Karen.
No, thank you, Mayor, for pointing.
I'll be your pointer.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We also will have building security 24/7 now and during the renovation. We think that's an important piece. And all in all, we're very excited to see this come to fruition. This is going to make a big difference. And I really want to thank the Family and Community Services Community Development Team. Raise your hand under Monica and Rick's leadership. Wait, they're being bashful. Back there, raise your hand. We've got our fiscal manager, Anna Lujan. These are all people that work together to really make this happen with Monarch, the contract, the architect. So behind the scenes to make something so great come forth are a lot of busy city workers. I also want to invite people. Tomorrow night we'll be doing a community meeting. We've had many community meetings about Housing Forward. Tomorrow night's meeting at Manzano Mesa will be all about the SureStay. It starts at 5:30 to 7. I know we've had about 25 people RSVP already. We're delighted to have this conversation so people understand our plans for SureStay. And as a bonus, we're also doing a naming contest. So while this is called the SureStay property now, we are looking forward to community input to really kind of capture the flavor of the neighborhood and the area. And so more on that tomorrow night or on our website. And so with that, Mayor, Katie, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I just want to highlight, so there's again, we always want to have sort of mixed sized units. That's really the other key piece of the renovation. So you can see here plans for efficiency and then a studio plan. So, it gives different options depending on where people are at and also different price points.
So, who's got questions? Right.
So how much did it cost to buy and how much do the renovations?
Carol, you want? Here, Rick, come on up to the mic.
So this is really substantially less than a new development. So if we wanted to build a 100-unit housing development, apartment community, it would cost somewhere between $20 and $25 million. So this is substantially less, and it gets online a lot quicker.
You mentioned paying for security during the renovation right now. What about after renovations when it opens up?
It's a Monarch.
But yeah.
So we have Monarch Properties, who is our professional property management company. They oversee the day-to-day operation of the properties that they manage for the city. With that, there's on-site management, and so it's not necessarily 24/7 security during the operational, but there is staff on site during the day, and they do keep track of what's going on the property on a daily basis.
Some of this housing is targeted towards the homeless population. So these properties, will they have rules on them? Yeah. And if so, what are some of the rules? Because some of the people we talk to, they don't like the rules.
Thank you. The question was, the residents that will live in this apartment complex may have been formerly people who were unhoused. And the question is, sometimes maybe people who've been unhoused may not like the rules. This apartment complex, just like any apartment complex in our community, when people sign a lease agreement, there are rules that go along with that. So just today, in any place in our community, if there was a tenant that was having trouble following those rules, project management meet with that tenant and to identify what the problems and concerns are. The question is, will there be any special circumstances? What we do want is, in the best practice in our community, and this is what we do here at Family and Community Services, this will be mixed income property. That's what you want in all properties. That means you may not know how much your neighbor earns. Maybe they're a teacher, maybe they're a policeman, maybe they were formerly homeless, but that's all going to be, so we'll look for a mixed income. There are some of the lower levels of income we do want, and that's part of our funding source to buy this property, but ultimately it'll be a mix of residents in this apartment complex.
Along those lines, just a little more specifically, so what would you guys have any idea what would a room cost for a apartment here?
The rental.
I do.
Okay.
So I believe the fair market rate for an efficiency apartment is about $666 a month. So that's kind of fair market rate. If we do any other subsidies to help folks who are at lower incomes, that's where that assistance can come in. But I believe our calculations had that fair market rate being affordable to someone who makes about $27,000 a year.
Thank you. Timeline on this. Right now with our architect who we've got on board, we're looking to 6 to 9 months. So we're refining that timeline as we get in. You know, we just closed on it on Friday. So we're moving ahead. But right now we'll just 6 to 9 months and we can keep the public posted. Yes.
Property management can be sometimes messy and corporate related. How is the city going to mitigate risks with lawsuits by tenants and disputes with the city?
So I can just probably touch on that at a high level. Look, we actually manage hundreds of properties, and we, for properties like this, contract with Monarch, and this is kind of what they do day in and day out. So we're not going to treat this any different than a lot of the other city properties they already manage. And they're well versed in all of those issues. So this is not unique for us from that perspective.
Will Monarch take the liability?
It always depends on the incident. So they have liability for some things and we have liability for others, but it'll match what we do at other properties. So, okay, if there's nothing else, we have a special bonus for everyone who showed up today. We've been getting a lot of questions about Walmart, about the Walmart closing, so I just want to give you a quick update on that. We'll do a more formal update later, but rather than all of us calling each one of you after this, we'll just speak to give you a quick update. So we know that a couple of weeks ago the Walmart property closed. We're very interested in working with the community, as we've stated before, on what to do with that, especially to make sure that there's a grocery store in there, or maybe to make it some sort of community asset with respect to both grocery or even housing and things of this nature. We have been in communication with Walmart. They own the property, so I want to emphasize this is private property owned by a company, and they have chosen to market that property for roughly 6 months. So they want to try and do that as they do their corporate properties, and they have every right to do that. They did say that after that period, they are very interested in working with the city on options of what to do with it. So this actually gives us some time to work with the community and perhaps come up with some proposals we can present to them. And in the last session, we were so fortunate that the area legislators gave roughly $2 million for us to help put towards that project. So we're going to take the next 6 months and look at the funding that we have, work with the community, and come up with a proposal. But in the meantime, as you can imagine, it is private property, and Walmart's well within their rights to go ahead and try and market that property for sale. So they did express that intent for 6 months, but then again, a strong willingness after that time, if it has not been sold, for the city to help out. So we're going to let the community take the lead. We're up for putting in $2 million, and our Metropolitan Redevelopment Project is going to be sort of facilitating that along with the area legislators. So much more on that down the road, but I wanted to give you a sort of timeline in terms of what the company shared with us. All right, so with that, I think we're good on all this. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.